Hey everybody, happy Monday to you. Hope you've had a great day. I just wanted to do a video today to show you what I'm up to with the buffet that I'm working on. Today is door repair day. So today I'm going to be working on repairing the damage that was on the doors in the hinge area. I don't know if it was a design flaw with the way they constructed this particular piece with the doors or not, but they all seem to be damaged in the same area around the hinges. So they needed to be repaired, and I had some options for the way I wanted to go about repairing those doors. The first option was that I could just use some wood putty, just layer it in and sand in between each layer and try to make the corners as crisp as possible to replicate, the wood, but it's still not wood. So it's not going to have the wood grain, it's not going to accept stain as well, and so I decided not to use that option. The second option was wood epoxy. Wood epoxy would have been a very strong option for me to use. It would be a very strong repair. It would have lasted forever, but it's still not going to have the wood grain. It's not going to accept stain. So again, I chose not to go that route. The third option that I could use, and the one that I decided on, was replacing it with an actual piece of wood. So that's something it's important to me when I'm working on furniture restoration, is to be as original as possible to the original design, original construction. Try to keep it as authentic as possible. So whenever it's possible, I try to use the same wood, the same species, and just remold whatever pieces are missing from it. That way it will last forever. I try to think about what's going to happen in the future of the piece that I'm working on, because if I'm restoring it now when it's probably close to 100 years old, I'm hoping that down the road, another 50 to 100 years or so, somebody else will want to take the time to put into it and repair it and restore it again so that it can be useful for another century or so. So even though I'm going to be painting it this time around, down the road someone may want to strip the furniture and stain it again. So the fact that it will have wood there is something that it'll just look so much better, and it's not going to be an obvious repair. You'll still be able to tell if you look closely because it is a repair, but it will be a better repair, a more quality repair. So that's what we're working on. The other doors are also damaged, but they're not actually missing the wood. They're just, the wood is loose, and so what I'm going to do is just shoot some wood glue up in there, inject it into the fibers of the wood, clamp it up so that it'll be a nice strong bond again, and have years more usefulness in store. So that's what we're working on today, and let's get started. So the first step is the part that I did yesterday, and I'm so bad about getting started on work and just realizing after the fact that I did not video it. So I apologize for that, but I did want to at least show you the process that I did. And so I'm going to zoom the camera in and show you what I did yesterday. Okay, so this is the section that was broken. I would say 98% of this wood was already missing. The only thing I did yesterday was I got a straight edge out and I just marked off straight edges. And then I got my chisel, made a straight edge there and a straight edge going this direction. Then I went in and cleaned up this part of it just so that it would be a cleaner area to receive the piece of wood that we cut to replace the missing part. Again, this piece was cut off of this buffet, so it is original to the time, and the wood grain should match up. So all I'll do is get some wood glue, and I'll put it in, I'll put a coating here and here, and some on this section. Not too much, you don't want to have a bunch to clean up from spill out. And then I'll just clamp it down and let it dry. Once it's dried, I'll just get some wood putty out and fill in any little crevices that are left, just to make it blend in a little bit better. Then I'll get my chisel out and I'll just come in and make sure this side matches up and this side and looks original, or as original as possible. And then I'll sand it all down and move on to the next step. So let's get started with that. Okay, so got my wood glue. I'm just going to put a thin coat there, a little bit on the end, and a little bit on this end. Same here. Make sure you have it over the entire surface. Also, it's good to make sure you have a wet paper towel nearby. Okay. And then just put it in place. Wipe down any squeeze out. And I actually want to try to make sure that I get most of that out of there, because glue doesn't stain well. And so if I'm going to fill it back in with wood putty later, I want there to actually be a seam there to get the wood putty in. All right. Then I just clamp it. Okay, so stage number 2 is door number 2. The second door that needs repairing is not going to be as complicated or require as many steps. It isn't missing any wood, it's just damage to the point of the wood being lifted. So all I need to do for this one is really just inject some wood glue in, clamp it up, and it's good to go. And the bond will actually be stronger than natural wood fibers are. So it should last even longer than the original construction did once it's all glued and shored up. So what I wanted to show you today is the method that I use for putting the wood glue in. A lot of times, especially if you're working on veneer, you have damage that's really hard to get to. And so I have found that medical needles are really useful in distributing the wood glue. So this one is an 18-inch gauge needle, 1 inch long. Don't know if you can quite see what it says on the box there, but I'll put the information in the description in the video, so you'll have that there. I got this from Tractor Supply. I'm sure you can get it from any medical supply store, but that's where I got this from. So all I did to load it is I just squeezed in the amount that I think that I'll need for the project, which wasn't that much in this case, so I didn't put a whole lot of glue in there. But once you get the amount that you think you'll need, you just put the plunger back in there and turn it upside down and let all the glue fall down to meet the black tip of the plunger. You'll see that it's really hard to get the resistance because it's filled with air. So what I do is just let it all fall down, and then the air is on the other side of it. So you just squeeze all the air out, just like if it was a medication, and until you see a little bit of the glue coming out of the tip of the needle. And then you're locked and loaded and ready to go. So I'll show you what I'm going to do with this. Let's see. Okay, so see if you can see here. This is the part that's lifted. See? Okay, so take the cap off, lift this up, and just squeeze the glue out. And down here where I don't want to completely break it, so it's important just to leave it attached. So I just slide, but you want to get the glue all the way up under there. So I just squeeze the glue down in there. Get some on the back side of the broken part as well. Recap it so glue doesn't squeeze out everywhere. Use your damp paper towel. Wipe up any excess. And then just clamp it up. And as you can see, you'll get a little bit more squeeze out as you tighten the clamp. Just clean that up. Easier to do it while it's wet than once it's hardened.